This is Scandal News. Today we're pulling on a loose thread that refuses to stop unraveling. Drake says his karma is clean. The clips say the story is messier. Fans are throwing things, timelines are fighting. And the Iceman in the center keeps walking through the cold like it's part of the show. The moment that set everything buzzing was a speech.com voice. Heavy message. I didn't get here by being a snake. People cheered, others rolled their eyes. Because minutes later, the internet sliced that line into 1,000 takes. Some said it sounded like a confession dressed as a denial. Some said it was just a pep talk to a crowd that came for hits, not therapy. Either way, the phrase stuck. It traveled faster than the set list. That's the cycle now. A few words on stage, a million reactions off stage, a roll of toilet paper arcs through the air, a bottle skims past the lights. Every small act becomes a symbol. Respect, disrespect, cracks in the armor, or proof the armor still works because he never flinched. Depending on who you ask, this is a spiral, or a masterclass in how to keep the camera glued to you. There's a reason this keeps landing. Last year didn't end tidy. A thunderclap track turned into a parade. Charts moved, memes marched. The word finished floated around like a prediction and a prayer. Drake did not turn the page quietly. He went to court. He planted a flag that said the line between truth and rumor matters. Not everyone read the same book. And that disagreement became fuel for the new era. Welcome to the Iceman storyline. It isn't just a single, it's a maze. He moves through live streams chased by a puppet with a long nose. Fans take notes. Forums spin theories. Some say the puppet means lies that won't stop following him. Others say it's a wink, a way to show he can take the joke and sell it back with a hook. The imagery does what imagery does. It invites you to guess, and guessing is sticky dot. Then the records land. One song sounds like a cold hand on a hot stove. Another glides like ice over glass. A feature shakes hands with a rising star. Watch the numbers. First day streams, playlists, radio ads. None of it settles the question people actually care about. Is this redemption or distraction? The answer keeps moving because the story keeps throwing new pebbles in the water. Shows add sparks. Reports of late starts. Clips of quick endings when the curfew hits like a wall. People post shaky videos with captions that feel like verdicts. Half the audience says, look, the tide turned. The other half says you wanted a meltdown. So you turned a tight festival schedule into a conspiracy. The truth may be boring. The feed never is. Here's what makes this era different. Drake isn't just performing songs. He's performing a debate about himself. He tells crowds he earned this by playing fair. He sketches himself as the opposite of the headline, not a snake, not a puppet master, not the villain in anyone's coming-of-age reel. It's a clean story. But clean stories gather dirt the moment they hit the street. Meanwhile, the friendships get audited in public. One photo warms the room. One lyric change chills it. Bloggers turn a shrug into a plot twist. People tally who stood near who at a big show in Los Angeles. They screenshot likes. They build loyalty charts. That's the cost of living at the center. Every hello sounds like a treaty. Every silence sounds like a shout. Fans split into two camps. One camp sees a man under siege, targeted by gossip loops and bad faith jokes. They hear resolve in the speeches. They say the cold tone is focus. The other camp sees a superstar refusing to take an L. They hear spin. They say the puppet chase is theater. Both camps keep watching. Both camps keep arguing. And attention is the metric that never loses. There's also the rumor economy. It breathes on speculation. Secret buttons. Unheard tracks waiting for a perfect moment. A grand reveal that rewrites the epilogue. Maybe, or maybe the reveal already happened and we missed it while we argued about a bottle. Flying on a Thursday night when a story lives online, the cliffhangers don't have to be real. They just have to be possible. Here's the part nobody likes to admit. The crowd is in on it. Not in a sinister way. In a show business way. Throw something, boo, cheer, post. Edit the clip to make the moment tilt harder toward your take. The artist builds a set, the crowd builds a narrative, the press builds a headline. The algorithm builds a tunnel. And if you walk far enough into that tunnel, every sound starts to echo back what you already believed. Let's talk about voice. Drake's new records sound colder on purpose. Fewer smiles, more pressure. The bars feel like notes to old friends who changed seats mid-season. He says he knows who switched sides. He says he kept receipts. That tone works because it sounds like resolve. It also invites a challenge. If you say you know, people will demand names. If you don't give names, people will say the song is vibes without proof. Choose your poison. Now, the Pinocchio chase. On one level, it's meme fuel. On another, it's a mask. Everyone sees what they need to see. If you think the worst allegations were fake, the long nose is your banner. If you think the worst allegations were fair, the long nose is a comic cell phone. That's the genius and the trap. Symbolism sells because it's flexible, but flex too much and it says nothing. There's also a quieter question humming under the bass. What does a win look like in 2025? Is it a number one? A tour with no hiccups? A headline that finally admits the rumor was wrong? Or is it endurance? Not the loudest record, not the cleanest press day, just the last person standing while everyone else runs out of oxygen. Some artists chase victories, some artists outlast storms. The storm isn't just about rivals. It's about us, viewers, commenters, people who want a clean storyline with a single hero and a single villain. Real life resists that shape. Drake can be stubborn and strategic. He can be rattled and composed. He can make a sharp song and still irritate the crowd 5 minutes later with a speech that sounds like a court filing. 2 things can be true. 3 things can be true. That's not satisfying. But it's real. Of course, there are lines that went too far on all sides. Words that turned personal. Fans who crossed boundaries. Threads that read like a hunt, not a critique. That's where a culture checks itself. You can roast the music and still protect the people in the room. You can love rap and hate harassment. You can demand better without turning into a mob that throws SHT because a chorus didn't hit. Let's rewind to the beginning of the Fame arc. He was a TV kid who became a hitmaker. Some people say that early platform made the climb easier. Others say it made the climb harder because the gatekeepers never forget the first box they put you in. The truth is both. A network opens doors, a label tests you, a genre demands proof. He gave proof for a decade. That history is why this current fight feels so heavy. The higher the stack, the louder the crash sounds, even when the stack is still standing. So where are we tonight? A lawsuit crawls forward. A rollout keeps teasing. Clips of fans testing boundaries keep hitting feeds. A new single lands with a frosty glide. A festival ends early and starts 1,000 hot takes. And somewhere in the middle, an artist who built a career on control is trying to surf chaos without falling in. Is that delusion or discipline? Depends which clip you watch first. Here's a quiet prediction. The monologues will not stop. They may get shorter, they may sound softer, but they will continue because they serve a purpose. They invite his base into the inner room. They say, I see the mess and I'm still here. That message matters when the brand is endurance. Even if half the internet turns it into a meme 5 minutes later, the half that loves him hears a promise. I'm still that guy. And there's one more layer. The mentor image. Drake has long styled himself as a connector. New faces, big cosigns. That angle still works. A record with a younger partner becomes a bridge. A bridge says the kingdom is not shrinking. The kingdom is expanding. Even a mid-song can feel like a map if it arrives at the exact right moment for the feature on it. Timing is a kind of power too. What about the people closest to him? The producers. The day ones. The security team that turns into unpaid extras when the crowd throws things. They carry the weather. If he's calm, they're calm. If he's on edge, they brace. You can read a camp's health in the micro moments backstage. Quick exits, tight smiles, extra meetings, gaps on the calendar that look like recovery days. All of that says this ride is bumpy and the brakes squeal when the hill gets steep. There's also the health of the audience, not the fan health. The attention, health. Are we good at recognizing when we're being spun? Do we know when a cliffhanger is candy? Can we love the spectacle and still ask for songs that last longer than a headline? The best fans can do both. The worst fans feed chaos. Because chaos feels like a win by itself. And chaos always comes back hungry. Know for the tough truth. Meltdown's trend. Craft rarely does. That's not a Drake problem. That's a platform problem. If a set goes perfect, the clip is a souvenir. If a set hiccups, the clip is a weapon. So, of course, people reach for the weapon. It cuts through the feed faster. This is why seasoned artists design tours like chessboards, lights, pacing, banter, silence, exit strategy. Each choice reduces the number of knives in the air. But here's the twist. Sometimes leaning into the noise is the only way out. Own the meme, make it merch. Turn the puppet into a character and make the character chase you from city to city. Now you've turned a heckle into a script. That's risk. It can backfire. It can also stabilize a shaky week and give the audience a game to play that doesn't involve throwing things at your head. So is he losing it? Or lapping the field with a weird victory lap that looks like a wobble from far away? Honest answer: it changes day by day, show by show, post by post. That's why people keep watching. The outcome is not locked. The roller coaster still has turns left, and everyone wants to be there the night it stops climbing and starts dropping, or the night it breaks through the fog and coasts clean. There's one more reason the story won't die. The rival narrative keeps thriving. The other camp keeps dropping moments that hit hard. Awards stack. Stages shake. Every time that happens, the temperature on Drake's side goes up again. He can't control that. He can only respond. Sometimes the response is a track. Sometimes it's a speech. Sometimes it's silence. Silence can be power. Until it sounds like absence, then people fill the silence with stories you don't like. Let's put a pin in the rumor list. Secret vaults, red buttons, industry chess, hidden features that would flip the whole timeline. Believe it if you want, but history suggests the simplest path usually wins. Release music, perform well, keep your circle tight, don't pick fights you won't finish, protect the crowd, protect your own people. Let time do what time does to hot takes. Even if you disagree with everything he says, there's a craft lesson here. Keep control of the first 3 minutes of your show. Earn the right to talk in minute 40. If you must rant, make it short and make it swing. Leave them chanting a chorus, not quoting a dispute. And if the venue clock is strict, plan for it. End strong. Don't let a hard stop turn into a rumor about your stamina. A note about safety: nothing thrown from a crowd is funny. Not bottles, not batteries, not anything. Artists get hit. Staff get hit. Fans get hit. That's not rowdy. That's reckless. Boo if you must. Leave if you want. Debate online until the battery dies. But don't turn a concert into a dodgeball game. Nobody pays for that. A note about empathy: famous people make mistakes louder. Regular people make the same mistakes quieter. The math of shame is crueler when millions are watching. That doesn't mean there are no consequences. It means we should aim the consequence at behavior we can prove, not at rumors we repeat because they taste good. Do that long enough and you can actually keep a culture alive. So what's next? More songs, more symbols, maybe a clean festival run that resets the vibe. Maybe another jagged clip that reignites the feud economy for a week. The Iceman persona will keep skating until the ice cracks or the sun comes out. And if it cracks, he'll say the lake was shallow anyway. And if the sun comes out, he'll say he planned it that way. That's what stars do. They explain the weather after they survive it. Here's where you come in. If the new records move you, say so. If they miss, say why. If the speeches drain you, skip them. If the spectacle entertains you, enjoy it. But don't let the comment section turn you into a stage prop. You don't owe anyone a team jersey. You owe yourself a clear ear. That's how you keep your taste from getting farmed by the feed. We're going to keep watching because the story keeps asking questions. Is the villain mask glued on? Is the hero cape frayed? Is the puppet chase a confession or a magic trick? Those questions sell tickets. They also push artists to choose: either you outgrow the bit and return to the basics, or you make the bit your home and learn to live with the draft under the door. Drake has survived a decade of that draft. He may survive another. He might even thrive on it. Pressure is fuel for some people. Others burn out. We will know which one he is when the noise dies for a month and all that's left is a piano loop and a hook you can't shake. If that hook shows up, the weather changes in one night. If it doesn't, the crowd will keep waiting with arms folded and pockets full of opinions. Until then, here's the only promise that matters. Scandal News will follow the music, not just the mayhem. We will call out stunts when they look like stunts. We will flag wins when they sound like wins. We will keep the language clean and the takes sharp. We will protect the people in the splash zone. And we will keep asking for songs that earn silence after the last note. If you're still here, you're part of the rare group that watches the whole movie, not just the trailer. You don't need DMN fireworks every 10 seconds. You need proof. The next few releases will give it, or they won't. If they do, this cold era becomes a comeback chapter. If they don't, it becomes a cautionary tale about trying to argue with a meme. Either way, the lesson is simple. Time edits louder than any blog. Tell us where you stand. Is this a meltdown, a method, or a messy mix of both? Did the puppet chase make you roll your eyes or raise your eyebrows? Did the last single make your playlist or miss the cut? Be honest. Then check back in a week. Because if there's one thing we've learned this year, it's this. In Drake's world, nothing stays frozen for long. Here's the business angle nobody wants to discuss when the timeline is on fire. Tours are machines made of money, schedules, and risk. Every minute past curfew can cost real cash. Every security call shifts the mood in seconds. If a city feels tense, the set tightens. If a venue feels loose, the speeches stretch. Add limited drops and surprise capsules, and you get a system that feeds on moments, good or bad. Even controversy can move product when the brand alchemy works. That isn't a grand conspiracy. It's the cold math of live entertainment. Clips turn to traffic. Traffic turns to merch. Merch turns to headlines that say the brand is still hot. That loop can be healthy when the music is leading. It becomes toxic when the loop leads the music. There's the media angle too. Headlines don't track nuance, they reward swing. If he smiles, it's a victory lap. If he scowls, it's a crisis. That whips the mood day by day. The only antidote is output that forces silence. A record so clean, the argument runs out of oxygen. Drake has done that before. He might do it again. If not, the winter goes on and the debate keeps skating in circles. And circles are dangerous. They make people dizzy enough to accept any narrative that lets them stop spinning. One last note. Hip-hop has always balanced myth and truth. Slick talk sits beside raw confession. Drake built a lane threading that needle, flipping vulnerability into hooks big enough for arenas. If this phase feels harsher, maybe that's the point. Freeze the doubts, cut the fat. Test who is still around when the party lights turn white and the floor smells like smoke. If he finds a record that carries warmth through all that frost, the room will thaw in a hook and a heartbeat. Tap subscribe to Scandal News. Ring the bell and drop your verdict below. Meltdown, method, or messy mix. Hit like so the algorithm. Can't bury this, and share with one friend who needs the receipts. New breakdowns coming soon. Don't miss the next reveal.